Let me tell you of the days of high adventure.
Hey, I'm Kevin.
And I'm John.
And this is 6 Degrees of Schwarzenegger, the podcast where we take a long, hard look back at some of our favorite action movies from the era of Arnold.
We love him. Schwarzenegger is the icon of the genre. And we're taking a deep dive into some of these 80s and 90s cult action movies and breaking them all the way down.
Brother to brother. Brother to brother. One to another. Like no other. Brother to brother. Brother to brother. Never knew you existed.
How the hell are you feeling?
I'm a little tipsy. I'm not gonna
Are you,
lie.
I am flying so high.
I feel good.
Woo!
I feel like I've just found my long-lost twin brother.
I'm amped the fuck up to talk some more about twins.
I am too. Welcome to episode 3, you cretins.
This is the midway point. It's hump day,
That's right.
I guess.
For me, this is one of my short weeks, so tomorrow's my Friday, even though it's Thursday. I love it.
Bastard. I'm going to try to catch us up on what's been happening in this plot.
Tell us what's up.
Basically, we've got Julius and Vincent Benedict. They're twin brothers, product of a shady-ass, Nazi-inspired government experiment to create a superhuman master race, dude.
Mission accomplished.
But there were two babies born, one that seemed, I guess, physically superior and one that seemed inferior. So they separated them at birth, of course, and sent one to a tropical paradise and the other to an orphanage. But they've reunited now. Julius, that's the Arnold Schwarzenegger, upstanding, wonderful human character, is trying to help Vincent. That's the Danny DeVito sort of shady ne'er-do-well character. He's trying to help him out of a jam. He owes a lot of money to some loan sharks.
Yep.
But they're working together, stealing cars together, although Julius is not aware that there's anything bad happening.
Right.
Now, it should come as no surprise that there's also some other bad characters out there who are looking to track down whoever stole this car.
Right. And they also think that they know where their mother is. They have an address for their mother.
There's a possible lead to track down Mom. There's also some love interests for both characters. Vincent's been having an on-again, off-again thing with a woman named Linda, and then her sister Marnie. Marnie is just met Julius and is taking a shine to him.
That catches us up, but I have a question for you.
Okay.
And my question is, if the embryo separated,
But it didn't split equally.
if
Whatever that
the
means.
embryo separated,
Yeah.
how could they be sure that all of the shit that they thought, all the positive, philosophical, musical, strength, like all of the good things could go to one, and how could they know that it didn't split between the two?
Well, the
They
real
couldn't
question
know
is there's
that.
no way they could know when they were fresh out of the womb,
No.
right? Which they just decided, I guess.
Like, what if Vincent was
baby's
great
the
at math?
This baby's the big one, so he must be good, and the other one's like the runt of the litter, so we're going to kick him to the curb.
It doesn't make any sense, because what if Vincent had come away like super fast and
Yeah.
and very good at chess and or
I'm
philosophical,
sure there have
and
been
they're
plenty
like,
of people who were born small and went
Yeah.
on to be incredibly good-looking, talented, successful individuals.
pretty sure Einstein was not tall, but yeah, I mean, anyway.
I've got a question for you.
Oh,
What if the baby had been a girl, or the twins had been girls? Is that even a possibility?
destroy it.
Like, clearly, they wanted boys. The scientists wanted boys.
Yeah, I think in the back of every crazy mad scientist who's trying to create a super soldier, there's no question in his mind that it's going to be a male.
Do you think they had that part of it under control? I don't know that there was even a way to detect sex back in that time until the baby came.
Yeah, I'm not up and up on my medical science. There's part of me that loves X-Men and things like that, like the Mr. Sinister of the X-Men lore that knows.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing, and as far as like genetically altering something so that they can determine sex.
I think they would have done everything in their power to make sure it was boys.
Yeah, you want your soldier to be a manly man.
That's what you think is definitely to be soldiers?
May your first genetically engineered super soldier son be a masculine
They weren't
child.
just trying to like have the most kind-hearted, whatever virtuous person. They wanted a soldier.
I don't know. Oh, I mean, we've talked about it. And we talked about it earlier in the show where we talked about Werner being a former Nazi and being up on the thing and them wanting to engineer. Maybe it stemmed from the original Aryan super race hope.
Ubermensch.
Yeah, exactly. Of generating an Ubermensch. But I guess it is not out of the realm of possibility that they wanted to just create the ideal human being. And if the child had been born female, that they just would have gone from there.
They wanted to pull the top traits from the top who they viewed as being genetically superior.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good question. It's very interesting to think about. Like, would this movie... I don't know.
It seems like the scientists... The theory was we're going to take the physicality of like a pro athlete, the math skills of this Nobel winner, the whatever the linguistic skills of this poet laureate, like that type of shit. And we're going to have the very best of all of them in one individual.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's like, what if... Like there was no way to tell if some of that ended up in Vincent, who they were so quick to be like, let's get rid of this thing.
Well, as we're seeing, I mean, Vincent's got redeeming qualities.
He does.
Just grew up in a shit situation,
and he's resourceful. He's quick-witted. He's intelligent.
We'll probably explore this at more length later, but I feel like it's never really discussed in the movies very much. But there's also just very clearly like a nature versus nurture story to be told here.
Yeah. We'll get there. All right. So let's kick off episode number 3 without further ado. When we last saw Julius, he'd found out that he had an address, that Vincent, his twin brother, DeVito, had an address for their mother.
From like 30 plus years ago, probably.
Right. And so we get so he takes the paper and just sprints across LA. we get the idea that he's probably run a marathon one way.
I did the research to save you all the trouble.
Thank you. I wouldn't have done it. I was busy.
The location of in real life, the location where they shot Vincent's house at Santa Monica.
Right.
The location where Julius jogs to is over in Pasadena. It's about 26 miles away in real life.
I'm just going to go with the fact that he was like 26.
Do you think it was a marathon?
Yeah, and I think
two and a half hour jog.
I think he runs it in 2.
Okay.
Maybe
like
less.
World class.
Maybe fewer miles.
World class.
Maybe
gold
fewer.
Medal, like
not
world
fewer
record
miles.
Type time.
Fewer minutes. Yeah. So Julius jogs. We see him jogging through a swanky neighborhood, Pasadena. We come to find out.
They said Glen Canyon.
Yeah.
Which is not a real street.
Yeah.
But the name Glen Canyon makes me think more like Hollywood Hills type area. But that would still be like an 8 or 10 mile, probably one way jog. Anyway.
It's a good distance. So he's covered in sweat. He arrives at a huge ass mansion and meets an older and like dude's incredibly fit for his age. Man there. His name is Granger. There's some kind of family gathering going on. There's a lot of people in the driveway around these like nice cars, and apparently those kids were Catherine and Jason Reitman, right?
Yes,
that's
Reitman
awesome.
Child, the Reitman progeny.
I love that.
Jason, of course, is famous for going on to direct like Juno, Up in the Air. He's directing the new Ghostbusters, taking over his dad's mantle. I did not know until today that Catherine Reitman played the character Maureen Ponderosa on Always Sunny, which may not mean a whole lot to you, John.
It
but
does
to
not.
people who watch the show, like
If people love
I
DeVito,
remember Maureen Ponderosa, and that's cool that she's still working in the industry as well.
yeah, that's badass.
It's weird to me that Granger has a name in the credits, but his name is never said on screen. Like, I just don't know how you would know that he's the character of Granger. Like, he's never given a name.
That's a great point, and I don't know the answer. But we'll come back to it later,
Moving right
maybe.
along.
So Julius tells Granger he's looking for Marianne Benedict, who used to live at this address. The mention of her name immediately gets Granger's attention. Julius shows Granger the photo of the research team from the experiment. Julius says that Marianne was his mother. The guy reacts with surprise. He's like, "You're Marianne's son?"
I love it.
Yeah. Granddaughter, we guess.
Catherine
Yeah,
Reitman.
yeah. Catherine Reitman says that one of the men looks just like Grandpa's.
That
'cause
looks
it is
just
your
like you, Grandpa.
fucking grandpa. The older man is like, "You go run inside and help your grandmother with lunch." The two men look deep into each other's eyes. There's this like recognition there.
It is like a magical moment.
Yeah, and I always thought that they were passable as kin.
Oh yeah, they were the same height, same type of physical, like
Yeah.
same type of build.
Yeah. So Julius is immediately overjoyed at having found one of his 6 fathers. He goes nuts, hugs Granger. Granger is rightfully kind of freaking out. Like he's like, okay,
I like
yeah, this is.
Granger's style. Like, let's go in, let's have
Yeah,
a drink.
let's have a drink. Yeah, we all need one, honestly.
I am enjoying
What are
it.
you enjoying?
I'm enjoying the dregs of this Blanton's.
Even the dregs are better than most bourbon.
So good.
I'm drinking America's original spirit, Applejack.
We've rediscovered Applejack, and it can be had for
it
not a
can
lot
be.
of money.
And it's tasty as fuck.
It's delicious. It's still the loud sip.
That's right, to let you know it's real.
I was a good fan. I was like a fan of Arnold's acting in this scene.
I
Like,
was too.
You have no idea what this means to me.
Aw.
Like I bought it.
Well, him and the guy playing Granger was like a seasoned professional. He was like laughing. He's like, "Oh, now wait!" Like alternating between uncomfortable and
Sorry about that.
whose time is
I
it?
don't think the trash pickup is tomorrow because Monday was a holiday. So
Will
I think
it
everything's
be
going to be a day late.
Friday?
Yeah.
We'll leave it out there. Leave that in
we
the
should take
leave that
that
in the
back.
podcast too. Leave it in there.
I think the dude who played Granger, whose name I did not bother to write down, he was like he'd been in a whole bunch of westerns and everything like that back in the day.
I got the feeling that him and the guy that plays Traven, who we meet later,
Okay.
they both had a very like old Hollywood pedigree style of acting. Just the way that they delivered their lines and stuff. I was like,
He
yeah,
had that type of. You could see him as a cowboy, or he's like a guy who could have played fucking Tarzan. Or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
He looked like a fucking jock.
So he invites Arnold in for a drink, Julius, and we're all there with you. Meanwhile, Vincent's driving the caddy around town to who knows the fuck where.
He has to be taking it to the chop shop.
We
right?
think, yeah. So he pops but like, why would he be like, I need music? Why wouldn't you turn the radio on?
Why would you not have taken the car to the chop shop
Immediately?
in the dead of night is the time that you want to be driving a stolen car?
Who knows? So he pops the tape that the scientist, now dead, left in the tape deck in the car. A recording addressed to I'm Webster plays, and the recording tells Webster that he's to deliver the merchandise, whatever that is, that's in the trunk to a Beetroot McKinley in exchange for a briefcase. The area code that he gives Webster is, in fact, a Houston,
And he's like,
Texas.
when you get close to Houston, call him at this number. So what's the deal with this car? Is it a rental car? Is it a car that they bought new for this drive?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Okay.
It was pristine when
It was brand new.
Yeah.
So I was like, I wasn't sure if it would have been a rental or something that they bought, a top dollar new car.
It looks. I
For
mean,
the
my
drive.
grandparents bought an early '90s model Caddy that was almost that exact same model.
Like off the showroom, off the lot.
yeah,
it was
and it was
brand new.
gorgeous, but it looked remarkably similar. And
Okay.
the one in the movie is like pristine, so that's why when I see this
oh, yeah,
car, I'm
it's
like,
brand new, I'm sure.
I'd fucking drive that. Had the motorized trunk.
Shit, what does that mean?
Here's what-
It opens and closes with the touch of a button?
You just like push it down and then like it catches on a motor and goes zzz, and like pulls it the rest of the way closed. I was like, that was That was high technology in the 90s. Back in Beverly Hills, Granger and Julius are in his, I don't know, salon, having a bourbon or whatever.
Lounge, I think.
And Granger says that he hasn't said the name Marianne Benedict out loud for over 30. I haven't said that name out loud for over 30 years.
I love that Granger is carries a torch for Marianne.
Yeah,
still.
he says he wonders what would have happened if they'd married, that he'd asked her, but she said no, and maybe it's because he was fucking old balls.
He looked. I mean, he seemed to be 45 when the experiment was happening.
Yeah, he was at least 20 years older than her.
In that case, he'd be like, he could be 80 in the context of the film. He looked good if he was 80.
Yeah, I think he was supposed to be younger. I think he was supposed to be slightly younger, but he still looked old balls, and he was much older than she was.
I feel like, speaking for myself at least, I feel like we all have that like person that just drifts through our mind.
Yeah,
still
sure.
like the person that you can't get rid of. I was watching Citizen Kane like recently, and there's this amazing scene where the Bernstein character is like talking, and he's like, it's strange the things that a person will remember, and he tells the story about decades before he saw a woman on a ferry that was passing by opposite of his ferry, and he saw her for just a second, and there's not a month that's gone by since then that he doesn't think about that girl.
That's amazing.
And I'm just like, I think, that if someone gets stuck in your head, they're just in there, and I certainly have that, but I think that's not an uncommon thing, and I thought it was it brought like a realness to the scene. Like Granger
Absolutely.
was just like clearly still, he's got the kids and the grandkids, but he still thinks about what might have been with Marianne.
It made me wonder, based on the brief time that we see Traven later on, but then even Werner's soliloquy up top, if all these guys weren't a little bit infatuated with her.
Yeah. She was gorgeous and brilliant.
And she obviously had other things going on for her at the time, but it seems interesting and plausible that Granger's still, like, after all this time. He explains that Marianne was told that Julius and Vincent had died, and it spooked her. She was afraid to have more kids.
That's tragic. If you think about it, they wrecked her life. The government did.
Yeah, and then they gave Vincent to a fucking orphanage. Like, why didn't they give, like, one of the kids? It doesn't make any sense.
Just take them both. What's the harm in taking them both to the island?
I don't, because they were raising him to be a super soldier. I think because they were beta testing.
Shit.
They were the beta tests.
It is dark.
It's very dark. Like, what the fuck was supposed to have happened? Like, at the end of Julius's life cycle, were they supposed to be like, well, he was too docile. He wasn't soldier-like enough.
Clone him or something?
I don't even know, man. That would be amazing if they went back to Werner's Island and there was like an army of clones.
Holy shit. Or just blending him with gorillas.
Oh, my God. John Matrix was a Julius clone.
Go full, like, fucking Jango Fett. Like,
that's what, I was about to say.
Is like, whatever, make him more docile and malleable or whatever, follow orders.
What if Julius Benedict was a John Matrix clone? Or vice versa. John Matrix was a Julius Benedict clone.
Oh, my God.
I love this.
I'm into it.
Anyway, Julius wants to know who told her that the kids died. Mm-hmm. Granger says it was this guy in the picture, Traven, the other scientist in the photograph.
Guy with the clipboard.
That's right. Granger says he still works in genetics. Why would he know this? Still works in a genetics lab in Los Alamos, New Mexico.
Do you think they have like a yearly reunion?
They probably have a telephone call down. Have you told anyone? No. Okay, goodbye. Julia says, I want to meet him. And Granger warns him that Traven's kind of a dickhead.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like, no, I don't. But I'm learning. I love, dude, Arnold is giving such a great performance as like this.
Yeah.
Just
the
innocent, childlike, he's just soaking it all in. I love that's a precious moment though. And
it is.
Did you notice, I love the detail of Granger having the chessboard on his coffee table?
Maybe he was also really good at chess.
Now, what are your feelings about Granger having a big portrait of himself hanging over the fireplace?
No, I'm not into it.
It's a choice.
I'm not into it. I'm never into it when people have giant portraits of themselves.
Yeah. You have a portrait of a horse or something like a normal person.
Or your grandkids, for Christ's sake. They're in the next room making egg salad, Granger, you fuck.
Lemonade and egg salad. Anyway,
back at Vincent, he's just gotten home and is planning to call Beetroot McKinley, played by the excellent and far, far too gone from us, Trey Wilson.
Oh, is he dead?
He died the year after this movie was made. Yeah. Beetroot McKinley, played by Trey Wilson. Vince is calling him to demand the $20,000 we get, the $20,000 that he owes the Clanes in exchange for delivering the Cadillac to Houston.
Well, let's say, where do our fans know Trey from?
Trey Wilson, they would have seen him as the also excellently named Nathan Arizona in Raising Arizona. He was also Skip Joe Riggins in Bull Durham.
I love that. You lollygag around the infield.
You lolly. Yeah, it's like...
That's amazing.
Oh, it's so good. So,
what a voice on him.
Trey Wilson was from Houston, Texas.
Okay, I knew he could slay that accent, so now it all makes sense.
Always.
Wait, let's talk about the Houston skyline. Was that you think that was really Houston?
So, yes, I can tell from, I can't remember the name of the building, to the far right of the shot behind Trey Wilson, Beetroot McKinley, is definitely, like, it's there. The building that's sort of in the middle, the white-colored building that you can see out the window, looks an awful lot like KBR Tower, except for the top part of the facade doesn't look exactly like the building. But, I mean, where it is geographically is like when I worked in Houston for the company that I worked for, that was the building that I was in.
Back when people used to go into offices.
That's right. No longer a thing. So Vincent pretends to be Webster and says he wants to renegotiate his payment. He says he wants 20, and Beetroot goes absolute apeshit. Vincent then tries again. He's like, well, how about 15? Beetroot says the deal that they had was for 5. Vincent bullshits and says, I can get more than 5 in L.A. Beetroot says, if you can get more than $5 million, you ought to take that offer.
Yeah.
It's at this point that we get the fact that that Vincent's been thinking small and in thousands instead of millions.
That scene is so memorable.
Yeah, it is awesome. He scribbles $5 million on a notepad with all the zeros. He eventually squeaks out.
Later.
He eventually squeaks out that he'll see Beetroot in Houston and hangs up the phone.
He's like, I'll have to find it in my heart to live with your offer.
It's so good. DeVito's great.
Houston, Mr. Beetroot.
He goes into immediate celebration mode, balls up the note, tosses it in the trash can.
I feel like they just told DeVito just to fucking celebrate until we say cut.
Yeah,
because he's just bouncing off the wall saying $5 million, $5 million bucks.
It's awesome. Yeah, we cut, and Vincent, with an armful of clothes and potato chips, he's piling into the Cadillac to hit the road, we guess.
I love just the loose armful of clothes. Like, this is a man in a hurry.
He does not. He's like, suitcase, fuck it.
Fuck a suitcase.
It's at that moment that Julius jogs up on his second marathon of the day. We'll call that a feat of strength. That's the fifth feat of strength.
Yeah. I love Vincent. You scared the living shit out of me.
Julius explains how he just met one of their fathers and that he told him that Marianne didn't even know that Vincent was born. This is all vital information.
That's right.
She was told that one child was born and the child didn't survive. Vincent's only half listening as he's like packing the car with snacks and
got the Diet Cokes and whatever else.
He's not even really letting the information that he was not abandoned sink in. And then Julius says, we've got to go to New Mexico to find this doctor who can maybe tell him where to find our mom. Vincent says, that's fine, but I got to go to Houston to drop off the car for the kids for Sammy. Which from the last episode, you'll remember that he was trying to steal a car and was telling Julius that car was for children, sick children, for charity.
Disabled children or something. Yeah.
So Julius is like, well, New Mexico's on the way to Houston. So he jumps in. He's ready to go on the trip. Vincent's like,
a lot of places are on the way to Houston.
It's like, why don't you just stay here, make some calls, throw wild parties out, and Julius is like, fuck you. He doesn't say that, but he's like, no. We're doing it.
He's like, no.
He's like pissed, which is one of the few times.
That's the first time we've seen him put his foot down.
Yeah, he's like, no, we're going to do this thing. Vincent sort of faking surrender says, all right, we'll go see him. Julius is excited, runs in and says he's going to go shower and pack. And as soon
I'll
as
be here, bro.
Yeah, as soon as he's in the house, Vincent's like putting the car in reverse to like back out. But as he's backing out, a car pulls in with Linda and Marnie. They've brought birthday cake for Vincent, and Marnie's baked for Julius for their birthday. I think it's a dick move for Vince to be like, well, it's not actually my birthday, but better late than never, you bitches. Like Jesus, man, chill.
We got to take a minute to recognize that, like, honestly, Linda and Marnie are both hot as hell.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
they're out so far out of definitely Vincent's league.
Yeah. Kelly Preston is like next level.
She's otherworldly. She is.
But Linda is
she looks amazing.
Hot.
She's fit.
Way beyond and above what Vincent should be able
She's
to
into
attain.
his style, his animal charisma.
He's a force of nature.
That's right. Marnie, I like Marnie's like, is Julius around? Vincent says Julius is inside taking a shower. She's like, I'll go take these to him. I love it. Linda sees the loaded up car, asks Vince where he's going, and she calls him out. He's like, I was going inside to get some coffee, and she calls him out for like planning to leave and not tell her about it.
I like that she's also like rightly curious, like, where did this car come from?
Yeah.
Does she know what he's up to?
She knows. I think that she knows he's into some shady things, but she doesn't
know he's stealing cars.
He probably has told her he's something like a repo man or something like that.
Well, like his door, his car, his office said something about like automobile sales.
Exactly.
Or some
That's
shit.
yeah, exactly. So we cut to inside the house. We hear Julius belting out yakety yak in the shower. Marnie's like creeping in the bedroom slowly, and we see Julius pop out from the left side of the frame. He's soaking wet and naked except for just a towel. Marnie!
Yakety yak! Don't talk back!
Marnie! Anyway, Marnie likey what she sees.
Oh, yes,
She's a big fan of all the muscles. She tells Julius that she made him cookies. He says that he's looking forward to tossing them, which is
finally a nice little payoff.
Slang that he learned earlier. She turns around so that Julius can get dressed, but then she's like pivoting this little like mirror so she can like watch that ass. We guess.
I think she's watching.
She's
the front.
a freak.
So we talked about this the other day.
Yeah,
like that. I'd never noticed that before, the big gag with the mirror and what was going on. But I realized when rewatching it again that I'd only ever watched it on a 4:3, and that the side of the frame where she's touching the mirror like is chopped off.
Oh, okay.
So you couldn't tell like what was happening in that moment. But in my mind, it used to always register like basically, yeah, she had said, "Oh, I made you these cookies because Linda made a cake for
Vince's
birthday.
Vincent
for his birthday," and he's like, "Oh, I had a birthday too," and she's like, "Oh, that's right. You're twins."
Right.
And she has this weird look on her face that I thought was just like it registering to her, like, "Oh, that's right. You're like under the."
But
she's
now
really reacting to like his genetically perfect dong.
Yeah, she saw that perfectly
contoured,
perfectly lab developed wiener. She saw that dingus, is what we're saying.
No, without a doubt, that's what was happening.
Smitten.
She was,
which is kind of misogynistic, but whatever. Yeah, it must look great. Anyway, in the driveway, Vincent shows Linda what's in the trunk, which is like some chromed out engine of some kind. We don't even know.
He doesn't know.
None of us know, but it's worth a fortune. It's at that moment that Agnes, the neighbor lady, approaches and warns Linda, Excuse me, never sleep with that man, never loan him money, and never believe a word he tells you. That's free advice.
It wasn't until...
Good morning, Agnes.
It wasn't until the last, couple times I watched that I realized just how hot Agnes is.
Agnes is good looking. Plus, she has a well-manicured garden.
She's gorgeous.
Yeah, her eyes are beautiful.
Vincent is like getting it done out here.
He's
doing the work.
Charismatic.
Apparently.
Linda is bewildered. Vincent acknowledges that he was once cleaning Agnes's pipes.
I cleaned her pipes once.
And
that is a hell of a thing to say.
And let's get some coffee. But that's the thing is, like, Linda's not dumb. Linda knows that Vincent's cheated on her. And even in this moment,
have a past.
Even at this moment, she doesn't call him out for the cheating. She says, I'm coming with you. on the journey. Vincent's like, nah, but then he quickly relents because she starts freaking out and screaming in front of God and everybody in the neighborhood.
That was always a weird moment to me.
Like pitching a fit. But I think that it's because she knows that he's into some shady shit and doesn't want to get, and so he tells her that she can come, but she can't tell Julius about what's in the trunk. So, yeah, Linda comes inside. They're giving everyone the happy news about the road trip. And then I love it when Vincent notices the shirt that Julius, nice shirt, feels great. It's all cotton.
It breathes.
Well, it breathes. That's so funny. It's so funny.
You were feeling the shirt. It was a cool shirt. It was like a complete flannel.
I would wear the fuck out of that shirt. It's like some double cloth. Who even knows? Anyway, they all pile into the car and rolling out. We see the interior shot of the car. I love that Julius wanted to ride shotgun with Vincent.
He doesn't understand how these things work.
No, but then he's getting in the back.
We also ought to acknowledge how that's like the shittiest job of backing out of a driveway I've ever seen. Like he jumped the curb.
In Danny DeVito's defense, he can't see out the car.
Yeah, he can barely see over the steering wheel.
He needs to sit on a phone book. Anyway, but Julius looks in the back seat. And maybe Kelly Preston's the ugliest a human's ever been. Is that right?
There was a meme recently about like what's the best a human being has ever looked on film. And this moment of Kelly Preston in the car in the back seat, and another moment of Kelly that we'll see a little bit
in the
later
same movie. It's like she may have like this may have been peak for humanity, right?
She was approaching perfection.
Yeah, she's looking great. I hope.
Sorry, you're distracted.
I was just like, I was just thinking about her being married to Travolta.
Come on, you're floating. Come back down to the chair.
Yeah, you're right. Anyway, meanwhile, we cut back to the airport parking deck where I'm Webster. He's got Al, David Caruso, bound and gagged in the bottom of the pay booth. He wants to know where he can find Vincent Benedict.
Al was tied up with a lot of rope.
I feel like...
like, did he walk up with a huge coil of rope?
It was...
He had him hogtied.
It was not a convenient amount of rope.
It was a lot.
It was a ridiculous amount of rope. It was like ship rope.
Why would he not have handcuffs?
It was sort of ludicrous. Yeah, no one knows.
Also, did he kill Al?
Well, he saw his face.
Yeah, that's what he said. He's like, if someone sees my face, I got to kill him. But he lets other people live, as we'll see.
Right. That's why I'm just like, who knows?
I feel like Al definitely probably bought the farm.
That's sad. But would he have killed him right there in the pay booth?
Probably probably. Leave him bound up and shot.
Maybe, yeah.
Ugh.
There had to be cameras. At that time, in 88, there had to be cameras.
I mean, I imagine him walking into like the aerospace lab earlier and just walking out having killed a couple of guys. But no one knows why he had that much rope. Anyway, sometime later, we see Webster breaking into Vincent's empty house. The cat, Julius, is rooting through the trash. He does just ditch this cat on a moment's notice.
Yeah, Webster miraculously finds the crumpled note with both Beetroot McKinley's number and $5 million written on it.
What a lucky break for Webster.
Right? No work needs to be done. It's at that moment that three Klein brothers, Bert, who we met in the restaurant, Morris, who Julius beat up, and Bob, who's the only one that talks.
Morris has like his neck in a neck brace and stuff.
They burst through the door looking for Vincent. Webster like insults them, says it's none of their business who he is, and he like makes fun of their family gene pool. I love the line from "Don't cast dispersions on my family." It's so good.
It's weird. The whole thing's like, well, you're looking for Vincent Benedict, right?
Do I am? No.
It doesn't matter who I am.
Yeah. They try to stop him, but he shoots two of them in the lower leg and walks out.
Why would he not kill them?
That's what I'm saying. So Bert Klein, being shot at all would suck, but there's something about being shot in the lower leg that seems especially painful.
Like the shin bone.
But why didn't he kill him if they saw his face?
Yeah, I can't imagine a world in which he wouldn't have just killed all three of them and left.
Yeah, I love Bert Klein. You want a doctor? I'll call a doctor. Just like nonchalant.
It is good.
Meanwhile, Vincent, Julius, Linda, and Marnie are out on the open road.
Dude,
And-
I love the music. I love the scenery.
Right? It's very, like right now I am reading Travels with Charlie by Steinbeck.
Okay.
And it's got me once again, like I'm chomping at the bit for a road trip, dude.
We got to make it happen, man. I want to see that. I want to see that in New Mexico, Utah, Arizona.
Yes, absolutely. As evening sets in during their travels, we see Marnie cuddling with Julius in the backseat, and Julius is like so excited that his bicep like rips the shirt.
I feel like that was a metaphor.
Yeah, for a dick through some pants, probably.
Yes.
We see like later that same night, we guys in a gas station. Julius is like disrobing to put on this like t-shirt, like this great scene with Vincent like marveling at Julius's body. Why are these bumps all over your
you
body?
allergic or something?
You're all swolled up.
You look like you're ready to explode.
You look like South Dakota. Look, the back's even worse than the front.
It looks like North Dakota.
That's right, North Dakota. Oh, it's so good.
There were women and children present. Put a shirt on.
It's so good.
It felt all improvised, right?
Yeah, there's no, like, I think DeVito had some ideas for lines, but then just like, because I got to imagine, like, see someone like that ripped.
Yeah. Dude, I am fascinated by the people in the gas station who are like going about their business as if the most jacked man in the world isn't walking around shirtless in front of them.
Honest to God, these people probably see like drug deals and shit on the regular at whatever gas station this is. So it's like they're
It's
like
like meth country.
whatever. It's like whatever.
He pulls on his little Born to be Bad t-shirt. He's like, Born to be Bad. He was like going full
Yes, we
Terminator.
are. Yeah.
Full Terminator mode.
Yeah.
He's like, ooh, you're so scary.
Marnie is into it. Anyway, they pop back in the car. They arrive in New Mexico the
It's
next
his
morning.
first t-shirt.
As they're dropping off the ladies at a motel, we think it's in Santa Fe. We
Yeah, I
guess
think
rightly.
so.
Yeah. Vincent tells Linda to get a room with a king-size bed.
I've never been to Santa Fe. Is there like that much Adobe
Yeah.
around? Like
Yeah.
there are buildings made like that? That's
lots of
beautiful.
buildings in Santa Fe have like a Adobe facades or Adobe, like it's stucco to made to look like Adobe.
That's awesome.
But then at night in Santa Fe, and I can't remember the name in Spanish of the lanterns that are on top of a lot of the buildings to make the skyline of the, because it's not a tall skyline, but of like the town proper where the square is and all the shops and hotels are, they do these lanterns on top, and you know they're all electric now, but it gives the city a very cool ambiance at night.
I need to go there for sure.
Dude, it's awesome.
Put it on the road trip destinations.
Yeah, we'll stay at La Fonda, which we actually see that hotel in this movie. Julia says, "I don't need a king size bed. I just sleep on the floor."
Floor.
2 syllables. Floor.
That's a thing with him, but I feel like he doesn't mind jokes that like accentuate the accent, like Kuma.
I also don't know
Floor.
don't know that he knows that he's saying it. Like I think he's just saying it.
I feel like Yakety Yak was picked out because of the lyrics.
If you don't sweep that kitchen floor, maybe it
Rock
is.
and roll no more.
Yeah, you're probably right.
It's beautiful. I mean, it's so.
Oh, it is. It's
distinctive,
awesome.
And he's funny, and he
It's
has a sense
awesome.
of humor about himself.
So we see Vincent and Julius driving up to Los Alamos to find Traven, the other scientist. Vincent makes Julius promise that he won't get mad if Traven doesn't tell them what they want to hear. Julius says he just wants the truth. And don't we all?
I feel like this location was. Well, I read that they filmed something at like the U.S. Department of Energy
Yeah.
building in Los Alamos, like where they did all nuclear
Uh-huh.
research and experiments and stuff like that. Like, I wonder if that's the group that's meant to have been in charge of like this genetics experiment would have been like under the Department of Energy.
Because they
Or-
fueled him with...
They do some nuclear shit.
I was about to say
don't
he's
know.
full of hydrogen.
I don't know, but
the
I was
sun's
into
energy.
it.
He's like Apollo in Superman 4.
But yeah, basically, as you say, Julia says, like, you know,
I just want the
you
truth.
the truth.
Yeah, we get this smash cut to this little dumpy old guy. He's like, I don't know who you are, and I don't know what you're talking about, and I get the hell out of here before I call security. And he slams the door on him. Rude.
Vincent's like, well, that's that. Like, oh, well, let's keep going.
But Julius
That's
is like...
what he expected to hear, though, right? Because he still doesn't believe the whole twins thing.
Yeah, he's just like, this guy's attached to me. It's whatever. But like, and then Julius, he's lying. He's like freaking
lying.
out.
For the first time in my life, I'm pissed off.
Oh, it's Arnold sells this scene big time. He says that they'll make Traven tell them the truth.
I'll make him tell me the truth.
And then we see basically the door getting kicked off the hinges, feat of strength number 6.
For sure.
He confronts Traven with the photograph. That's our mother. Those are our 6 fathers. That's Werner. And that is you. So start talking. A security guard runs in and asks if everything is okay. Traven says he'll take care of it.
There is no way security's like, well, okay.
Okay, sir, bye.
This dude kicked the door off the hinges. He's like, in his face. Like, there's no way they're just like, oh, all right.
I
this
got
checks
an
out.
egg salad waiting on me. It's like, anyway, Traven looks, well, Vincent, you turned out just how I thought you would. What did you do, escape from prison?
He's so right.
Fuck. It's like, how did you know my name? I named you.
Ooh.
Well, friends,
Plot really thick.
Vincent is in shock, as are we all.
Yeah.
And that
Plot is thickened up like Julius's penis.
is thickened up. It's thickened up looking at Marnie, and it's thickened up so much that we can't force any more through at this moment in time.
That's all we can handle right now.
Oh man, I'm like, I got Marnie on the brain, I got Traven on the brain, Arnold's lumpy biceps on the mind. Yeah, it's like, wow, so much happened. What do we do?
I think
Do we take a short break?
We'll take a short break, friends, and we'll find out next week.
We'll be back.